Hi everyone, welcome to the procurement process video tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to take you through a guided tour of how to fill out the procurement form correctly. Now before we get into the specifics of that, I just want to take you through an overview of what this video will cover. So first, we're going to start off by talking about some best practices, tips and tricks to follow when you're filling out your form. Then we're going to go ahead and download and explore our form and talk about some very important details that you should keep in mind as you're filling out your form. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the best practices. And the first set of best practices have to do with time management. So as a rule of thumb, you should give yourself 1 week from the moment your order is submitted to our office till it's delivered to you. And this is because not everything is shipped overnight, and there's some logistical and approval procedures that need to take place before your order can be placed and delivered. So keep this 1 week time frame in mind and make sure you allocate this 1 week into your schedules as you're working with your team. Now 1 week is a typical time frame, but some orders for specialty items or items that are not in stock might take up to 4 weeks. So please keep that in mind as well as you're scheduling. Another thing to keep in mind as well is if you're placing orders that are outside the United States. If you're placing international orders, your orders might be subject to a customs check, which means they could be delayed in their shipment. So please make sure you think about these things as you're planning your schedule. Now the next best practice is a really simple one, but a really important one. And it's all about making sure that you calculate the shipping costs into your budget, since they will be taken from your budget when we order your items. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're allocating your budget for different items. And the last best practice is all about expanding your horizons. So there's a lot of different suppliers and companies out there that provide excellent parts and products. So please make sure you explore your horizons and see all the stuff that's available. Don't limit yourself to a single website or a single vendor that you're familiar with. Instead, look at the suppliers that are available in your area and your industry and see how they can benefit you. Now, UT Design has put up an amazing website with all these fantastic choices for you. So let's go ahead and explore this website and see what it has to offer for you. So let's go ahead and jump into our web browser here and go to utdallas.edu/UTDesign, and then click on the Students tab here. And then from the sidebar here, under Resources, click on Vendors. And this page contains a list of suppliers and other important resources that are going to be really helpful as you're working on your projects. So this page lists all the suppliers for different areas of your project. For example, if you're looking for general industrial supplies, McMaster-Carr is an awesome resource. And if you're looking for something in the electronics and electrical equipment department, Mauser Electronics is your way to go. So please take the time to check out this website. It's got some rich set of suppliers for you. We've got general electronic suppliers, retail stores, suppliers for mechanical components, instrumentations and sensors, raw materials, machine shop, and even 3D printing. So please take a look at this website, and I think it's going to really help you a lot, and the team's done an amazing job putting this together for you. So those were our best practices. So let's go ahead and download our procurement form and see how we're going to order a product. So from the sidebar again, click on Resources, and this time click on Forms and Templates, and find the procurement request form and click on it to download. Now I've already got my form downloaded with some sample items in it, so let's take a look at that. So the first thing you see is these items that I'm ordering today, but before we get to the items themselves, let's take a look at some of the fields above the items. So the first thing you fill out in your form is your department that your project is associated with. Then you put out the date that you're going to be filing it on, then the project title. Then you're going to type in the name of the student from your team who's submitting the request on your team's behalf. And now we get to the email address, which is very important. Please only use your UT Dallas email here and not your personal emails, because we cannot contact you on your personal emails. And if there's an issue, for example, the part is delayed or we need to get some clarification for you and you use your personal email, we have no way of contacting you, so that's going to slow you down and it's going to slow us down in terms of ordering your part for you. So please, please, please only put your UT Dallas email, and it's going to make your job easier and our job easier as well. Then we're going to go ahead and put in our faculty mentor's name here, as well as the sponsoring company and the date that we need these items by. And again, please follow the best practices for timely ordering. So now let's jump to the parts themselves. And first thing we put is the item description. So over here, it's really important to be specific. So don't just tell us you need some SD card or a hard drive or a cable. be specific. So in this case, we mentioned the name of the manufacturer, the capacity of the SD card, and then the type of device itself, in this case an SD card. Then we're going to put in the URL of the part where we want to get it from, or a recommended vendor. And then we're going to give our part number as well as the quantity and the unit cost. Now once you provide us with the quantity and the unit cost, the spreadsheet automatically does the math for you to give you a grand total. So you don't have to do the math yourself on that part. Next, let's move on to this high-speed HDMI cable. And in this case, I've given the manufacturer name and what the device is. I've given the URL for it. In this case, I don't have a part number, so I can just leave it not available. I want one quantity, and that's my unit cost. Now, 2 pieces of advice before we move forward. Firstly, if you're ordering specialty items, you might get a quote from the supplier, so it's important to attach that quote to this procurement form so we can actually order and pay for that item for you. The next thing is you're not limited to the number of default items or cells you see in the form. You can order as many parts as you need in a single form. So with that being said, let's move on to the last 2 pieces of our form, which is the justification of expense and the additional information section. So the justification of expense is used to tell us why you're ordering this part, and that's pretty simple. And the additional information is used to tell us if there's any special requests you want us to handle when we're ordering your item. So in this case, Amazon sells the high-speed cable by default in the 6-foot length range, but we actually want the 10-foot length cable instead. So in our additional information section, we've put here that for item number 2, please order the 10-foot length cables instead of the 6-foot ones. Now this is a great way to let the ordering office know of any specific details that you want us to do when placing your order. And that's it. Now you see one last thing at the bottom, and this is the approvals section. Now this is not to be filled out by you, but the office and administration only. And so once you've done that, you're all ready to go. You can submit it to your faculty advisor, and then he'll send it to us at utdesign@utdallas.edu, and we'll place your part for you, and you'll get it, and then you can go about working on your project. So I hope this video was helpful and you enjoyed a lot, and I hope this will smooth out the process for you as you're ordering parts for your senior design project. So I wish you the best in your senior design projects, and have a good semester.